Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here's your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, what a comeback yesterday by the comeback specialist Kansas, and then, of course, they rubbed it in. We'll get into that in just a second. Baseball opening day will be on Thursday. Tim Doolin will join us here in about 25 minutes or so to talk about that. It's actually Redbirds opening night tonight in Memphis at AutoZone. Great interview with Greg and Eli of Ben Johnson, the pride of Germantown High School, who is the Redbirds manager. Tiger talks, and that may be happening right now at Augusta National. So the decision on whether he's going to play or not play is going to come momentarily. He was out on the range. He was hitting balls. The sense by almost everyone is he will play. At 11, right as we're getting off, is when they announce tee times. So I guess they're waiting for his official proclamation. You can't be a game-time decision if you announce tee times today, right? He said Thursday. Well, that's just not going to happen. We're going to know, and probably know before this hour is out. So we look forward to sharing that with you. And, somebody said, I want to get to this in a second, but somebody said, might have been a Golf Channel guy, who said Tiger Woods is the strongest-willed and most determined athletes of all time. Now, it is amazing how he's come back. But is his comeback more phenomenal than Ben Hogan's? Ben Hogan, they said, would never walk again, and he did the exact same thing that Tiger is doing. But Tiger is strong-willed. But is he more strong-willed than Michael Phelps to keep that discipline regimen all the years he did and win with 3 Olympics where he dominated in swimming? Is he? I don't know. There's probably some others, through time. How about opening day baseball? We'll talk with guys that are able to stay in shape for as long as they've been, and Albert Pujols is a good example. This will be the 22nd opening night for Albert Pujols. That ties him, by the way, with Henry Aaron and Carl Yastrzemski. There's only one guy, J-Mo. You love baseball. Tell me the guy that has more opening days than Albert Pujols will, Carl Yastrzemski, and Henry Aaron.
Ricky Henderson.
No.
Nolan Ryan.
No. Not a pitcher.
Cal Ripken Jr.
No, but that's a really good guess.
I don't know then.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose with 23. Just one more. But this is it for Pujols. He will not break that record. All right, let's go back to last night and the thing that kind of ticked me off. First off, I was a big Bill Self fan, but, this new stuff with all of the Adidas tape and all that, and he just gets away with it in Kansas. I kind of wish that Memphis would do this for Penny. They gave an extension to Bill Self for 5 years that it stipulates inside the contract that even if there are NCAA penalties under his watch, he's still their coach. That's amazing. It's amazing. And he delivered their 4th title last night. He delivered the second one under his watch. So he's the only Kansas coach of that storied program that has ever won multiple national titles. This is what ticked me off. When he was asked what he said to his troops at halftime, he said he looked at them and he said, would you rather be down 15 with 20 minutes to go or down 9 with 2 minutes to go? What?
I don't know. When he started I didn't really say anything to him. I guarantee you he walked in there and wrung every last one of them out, made fun of their mothers, their families, their brothers, their sisters, everybody. In fact, he was so nonchalant about it. I agree. Pissed me off, too.
But really pissed me off was the fact that he said up 9, down 9 with 2 minutes to go. It's actually 9 with 2:12 to go. He had to go back to 2008 and rub it in. But honestly, that is the right message. The message is we came back with 2:12 to go, down 9 and won the game. Of course, it went to overtime. But 15 with 20 minutes to go, it's nothing. And within 6 minutes, that game was a one-possession game. Within 6 minutes, that game was a one-possession game. They were actually down at the biggest, right before the half, 16 points. They came back from 16 points. That is the greatest comeback in the history of mankind. And there were two other schools that actually had come back from down 15. Loyola Chicago in 63 was one of those over Cincinnati. I can't remember at the moment who the other one was. I feel bad for North Carolina. They were going to become the third number 8 seed to win a title. It was there. It was in their grasp, but their guards couldn't shoot. J-Mo.
The second biggest, sorry, Dave, for interrupting. Second biggest was Cincinnati in the 1963 championship.
Yep.
In overtime.
In overtime.
It doesn't say who was it. It
was Loyola against Cincinnati. I can't remember.
Oh, that was the same game. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But it all came down to the defense that Kansas played in the second half.
It really did.
I mean, those poor guards that were so good, North Carolina's guards, Davis, Love. Do you know what they were?
I got it right here.
They were 10 of 41. That's under 25% shooting. You know what they were from three-point range?
2 of 12.
I thought it was 2 of 13.
Yeah, it's still terrible either way. But looking at here, between Love and Davis combined, 6 of 25 in the second half. Love took 18 shots himself. I mean, not that he's a bad player. I don't mean, and some of those were heaves at the end. But that's a lot of forced shots.
I hate to say this, but some of that last-second stuff, you've got to go to coaching. You had a timeout.
The Roy Williams school of calling timeouts, where we don't call any ever. I hate it.
Hubert Davis, there's 24 seconds, 25 seconds left to go. They've got the ball. They looked lost. Manick is wide open underneath. That's with about 14 or 15 seconds. You could have at least gotten the 2 and played the end game with free throws. And look, Kansas was terrible from the free throw line. They were 5 of 10 in the second half. What were they for the game? You got it in front of you.
Yeah, for the game, 8 of 14 from the free throw line.
I mean, awful. Awful. Even Self himself said that at the end of the game. They were terrible rebounding. They were terrible shooting free throws. And that whole last 25 seconds or so, all you had to do, you had one in your back pocket. Call the TO and regroup and draw up a couple of options. And I don't know why Hubert Davis didn't do that. That was just absolutely terrible. And the shots they got weren't even really close to being good shots.
Terrible. Forced shots. I mean, really, there was one before the last turnover, a forced shot from the top of the key. They only made one shot. It was 1 of 12 from the top of the key for the whole game. I mean, some really terrible shots taken. And so back to your point about timeouts, not only the timeout at the end that also doesn't carry over. You don't get to take them with you to the next game. But also, early in the game, it was like a 14-point run before Hubert finally got a timeout there. I would have called one after 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, something. You know something's coming. You got to regroup and relax. I don't like the non-use of timeouts.
I agree. And there is something about the Bill Self mentality that never gives up. I mean, you got to give Kansas a lot of credit. 16 points, that's the biggest comeback ever. 15 in the second half. And really and truly, it happened in the first 6 minutes of that second half. Just great defense by Kansas. And, again, no good shots. And we kept thinking, you got to use a timeout. You got to use time in the early part of that half. And Hubert Davis didn't use any timeouts there either.
Between turnovers, Charles Barkley said something at halftime I thought was absolutely right. When Kansas was forced to play in the half court, they were trying to force the ball inside like they did against Villanova.
To McCormick.
But North Carolina is just too big inside to do that. What saved Kansas in the second half was North Carolina, like we've said, is forcing all these bad shots, and then they also turn the ball over 8 times. And some of those are shot turnovers as well.
Right.
So Kansas just out like a dart, just gets out in transition. They had 3 guys scoring double figures in the second half.
Kenny Smith said it best. Maybe he said the only way North Carolina loses this game is turning it over.
There you go.
There's 8 turnovers. There was one sequence there early on when they were making their comeback in those first 6 minutes where they were taking quick shots, transition buckets, and then they get a ball at half court, and I don't know how the guard, I'm trying to remember who stole the ball. Maybe it was Davis. But steals the ball and just goes the other way, like at half court. It was like they threw it to him. Crazy.
It really was. It was a back and forth game, a game of runs. Oh yeah, I was saying this to you before the game. Certainly, I saw people saying instant classic, and it certainly came down to the end. But there was a lot of mistakes made down the stretch by both teams. Whereas I felt like the North Carolina Duke game was a great game because it was a great game. Everyone's making shots down the stretch. It's a game of who's going to win, not really who's going to be the last one to lose it.
Well, you're spot on with the mistakes. I mean, how do you inbound a pass knowing you're going to get fouled, right? You're up 3, and the game is yours. And at that point, there's 4.6 seconds.
Yeah, barely any time.
And you step out of bounds as soon as you touch the ball.
Not once, but twice. So if you run sure about the first one, don't worry. He stepped out of bounds again.
Well, I'm watching this game with the referee, and he immediately said, he's out of bounds. You've got to take point 3 off.
Because it seemed immediate, right when he touched the ball, steps out of bounds, and that's the touch rule, right? Point 3.
Right, point 3. So now you're down to 4.3, and you've got all this time where they're checking it out. So that, in essence, there's another free timeout. And what did you run?
Nothing.
Well, I will say this. I have no idea what the play that was called.
He slipped and fell.
But Manick, I think he got tripped going through. I never have seen a definitive replay of why he fell down. But he fell down, and he fell hard because it was, he was down for a minute.
He was stumbling as he walked off the court at the end of the game as well.
Right. So he gets knocked down, but really, you don't want that foul called. Because if that foul gets called, it's 2 shots.
In the NBA, I don't think this is certainly not the rule for college basketball, although it's sometimes the ref's discretion. But in the NBA, it's an automatic technical free throw, and you get the ball back, too.
Well, that would have helped.
That would have helped a ton. And so the difference in college, because like you said, it's the ref's discretion, so you might not get that, and you might lose the game with something like that.
But you're not getting that. That does not happen in college basketball.
I've never seen it.
All that would have happened there would have been 2 free throws. Unless it was, I guess, if it had been deemed a flagrant, then you would have gotten 2 free throws and the ball and a chance to win the game.
No time off the clock either.
Right.
But Bill Raftery before the play is calling out. He's calling out like, I think they should maybe just down screen and hit the pop man or cross screen and slip to the corner. I'm like, those are just too simple of actions because it's only one action that's looking for a shot. And they come out there, and sure enough, that's literally exactly what they run. You got Manick trying to come run a cross screen. They run that ball screen or down screen pop, and it just there wasn't a good shot there. I felt like it was really forced that last shot.
Well,
too.
I will say this: Manick is a heck of a player.
Oh, I loved watching him.
He played his heart out in that game. I felt so sorry for Baycott because who knows if that ankle doesn't give way, he's going to score. A game's going to be tied up at that point, right?
Yeah.
And that ankle just buckles. You could see it. I felt that kid played his heart out too, but you know what? McDonald, who Charles Barkley, you mentioned, he's chastising Bill Self. He's going, McDonald's a good player. He's not a great player. You got these guards. If you're going to rely on that inside guy, North Carolina's too big in there. You can't let this guy beat you. He's not going to beat him. You got to go with your guards. The guards got to quicken the pace. Well, he was right to a certain extent, and that's how they got back in the game. But who won the game for him?
That last shot by McCormack, a nice hook.
It was a beauty. And
Beautiful
then
shot.
he hit another little turnaround jumper, too. He had 2 buckets down the stretch that won them that basketball game.
A really good play. Really impressed with him too. I know it was against a smaller guy, but without when the guy rolled his ankle, it's a tough play. But it was still an unbelievable winning play by him.
Let me switch gears here for just a second because we've got so much to get in today, and this is probably a topic for another day. But the new University of Memphis president, Bill Hargrave, spoke to several different media outlets yesterday. And I know he spoke about academics to newspapers as well, because I was reading some message boards going, what? The guy's only talking about sports? No, he was not. But when he was talking about sports, he had a lot of interesting things to say. And he said, basically, there are many decisions that will be made in the next few years that who knows how they all come out. He talked about conference realignment, and he said, well, who knows? Because we talk about a Power 5. What if it's a Power 2 or 3? What if 2 or 3 of the conferences, the SEC, the Big Ten, and, say, the Pac-12, they become the Power 3 and the others are all shoved to the wayside? I don't think that's going to happen, but that's certainly out there. If Clemson decided to go with North Carolina, let's just say, to another conference,
what's left in the ACC?
How great is the ACC?
Miami,
right?
maybe, but not really.
I mean, some of those other schools get taken in, so who knows? Who knows? And he doesn't know. But he knows it's important that you keep winning and you do everything in your power so that you survive. And he made that, I think, pretty darn clear. He talked about the IARP allegations to a certain extent, could not talk very long because obviously this thing is still pending. And that was the message he gave. He goes, I know, we've seen through the redacted release of the notice of allegations, we've seen what they are. But what he said is the allegations are not yet resolved, which tells you the school is fighting it, and there is a day in court still to be had. And so you can't really talk much about it, but it's not done. It's not a given that severe penalties are coming. And that, of course, is the hope, because there's clearly a section of people that go with precedent and see what's happened before, and they go, oh, you're in the slammer. You're done. And then there's this thought, wait, their day in court is still coming. It's a different day. And these allegations are yet to be resolved. So I guess it might be if you're a half empty or a half full guy. We shall see. On the Liberty Bowl, renovation or a new stadium? Not done yet. I think there is still some thought process out there that there could be an on-campus football stadium that would be built. I say to you, if that is the case, I don't know where you get the funding for it. I think the Liberty Bowl, minus the press box, is still a great place. Don't get me wrong. But if you were to build that kind of a building, I would make it a Carrier Dome kind of a building if you can possibly figure out a way to afford it, because the deal with the Grizzlies is up in 2 years. Who knows how you are going to be treated as the second tenant in that building. I don't know. But I know if you owned your own building, how it would be.
And you get your own locker rooms at that point, too. You don't have
you have your own dates. You don't have to worry about the lousy dates that you might get from the Grizzlies.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying the Grizzlies are being bad guys. I'm saying they're the main tenants.
That's right.
And that's the way it's set up.
And it always will be, too.
Yeah,
you never
absolutely.
get to change that. That would be a really neat idea. I never considered that before, but that would be really fun to have the same venue for football and basketball.
I will say this to you. I've been to the Carrier Dome one time. Memphis played Syracuse. And I was shocked at how good a basketball venue it was. The way it was designed, it's a really good venue for hoops, and it is a very intimate, I think it's about 40,000 seats. That's all you need. It is a terrific venue for a football game. And it's domed, so you don't have to worry about any kind of bad weather. And, you can practice there, too. You got 2 indoors if you do that. It would be, that's a pipe dream. And nobody's talked about that. That's not even on the table that I know of. But, I mean, if you're going to the extent where you're going to build an on-campus football stadium, You might as well go all out, dome the darn thing, model it after the Carrier Dome. That's what I would do.
Do you think if
you could find the money,
if Memphis quit playing football at the Liberty Bowl, would they still host? They would still host the Liberty Bowl.
Well, who they might for a while, but
if the facility's better at Memphis, you would switch it there.
Why wouldn't you just allow the Southern Heritage Classic and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl to play there?
That's right.
I would. I mean, it should become a city entity. Play high school championship games in the new Carrier Dome. We'll call it the Conway Services Dome.
Have everyone come here instead of Murfreesboro and Nashville.
There you go. Memphis gets the short end of that stick every time. That is for certain. But anyway, and then he talked about the future of college athletics and the NIL. And he said there is a colleague of his that is administrator of college of some university. I don't know if he's sports or if he is a president of a university. He said it was a colleague who has said we are embarking upon professionalizing college athletics. And he said that's probably true. And that's where we are. And who knows what it's going to look like in those terms in a couple of years. All you got to do is to see this new organization that has come together to help NIL money get shoveled into or funneled into University of Memphis athletes' pockets. That's going to happen everywhere. There's got to be, because it's the Wild West out there, there has to be some federal guidance. Because each conference is going to look after their own. They're going to make so they get it a little better. It's got to be uniform for everybody, and only the federal government, I think, could do that.
And if you were unclear about whether or not that's true, it's becoming professionalized. Look at the average age of college basketball teams this year. Some teams have like a 29 average age or 29-year-old players on the team. That's professional athletics, not college athletics.
Who's got a 29?
Miami has a 28-year-old, 29-year-old, something like that. And then what's DeAndre Williams is 20.
DeAndre Williams just turned 26. So if he plays next year, he'll be 27 years old at the end of his last season.
Yeah. I don't know if Miami actually has a 29-year-old, but they're old teams is my point.
Part of that is, Penny has brought that up too, which is why he's going to the portal.
Right.
Okay, breaking news. Here we go. Tiger Woods says he will play in this year's Masters as of right now and will play 9 more practice holes tomorrow.
That's what he said. He said, so in the short amount I could kind of hear, listening to both you and him, seems like he still is treating it a little bit like he's a game time decision, but as of now, he's playing. But if he pushes himself today and doesn't feel good, he's going to have to take himself out.
Well, it just makes, and I've said this a couple of times, it makes perfect sense for him to do this. Because if he does decide he can't do it, he's not hurting anybody.
No.
He's not taking a tee time away from anybody. This is the perfect major for him to do this and test it out. I'll be shocked if he doesn't tee it off to Thursday morning.
You think he competes?
I'll be shocked. I think he will compete.
Always.
I do not think he will win. But I would love it if he did. We're making our picks tomorrow. You can have him.
Yeah.
You can have him.
A shock, right?
Yeah. Well, what's his world ranking?
I will have to check.
His world ranking has to be 51 or below. What is it?
944 right now.
944?
Uh-huh. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different golf. No, that's right. Yeah, 944.
Go to World Golf Rankings.
Uh-huh. 944. That's correct.
Wow. How can that be?
I hope
well, he
I'm
hasn't
not wrong
played.
about
He hasn't
973.
played.
Wow, I gave him too much credit.
Wow. 973. Man. Wow. I would have to say that's a good shock. I might take him as a shock.
Oh, no.
See, you know what? We have to determine how we're gonna have to take our names, put it in a hat, and figure out that way. That's the only thing we can do. We'll do that, honestly. We got to take a break. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. They're still looking for self-motivated people. Man, I had a good time shopping there the other day, and we found the greatest patio furniture. It's state-of-the-art. It's brand new. We were looking for the teak stuff. They got some teak stuff, but we found something even newer and better that lasts forever with great warranties. Whew! It is just great. Hey, all the new stuff has come in, and if you're a self-motivated, goal-oriented person, they're looking for people. You want a new path in life, a new way to make a living with great people, a great company, go see my friends at Family Leisure, I-40, and Whidden Road. We'll let you know this portion of the show is also brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. And if I built a brand new stadium, I might go to Conway or ARS. I'd make that the Conway Dome. These are good people. And they remind you, you've got to get tuned up. It's summertime, almost here. We're in the 70s today, but it's going to get hot again. You know that. You want your system to cool your house. You want your system to last longer. You want your MLGW bill to be fair. You got to have an efficient system to get the best MLGW bill. You do that by getting tuned up twice a year. And the Super Tune-Up from Conway is the way to go. Inside, 16 points, perfect harmony. Outside, they clean your system like you're taking it to a car wash. They get all the leaves and the dirt and the grime out of those outdoor units. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Tim Doolin on baseball. Opening night on Thursday. Opening night for the Redbirds tonight at AutoZone. The weather's clearing out for it, too. Back in a minute with Tim Doolin.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
We did it! We time traveled to yesterday!
Wait, Progressive covers us 24/7, but we just created an 8-day week, and it's 24/7 coverage, not 24/8. We gotta go back.
Are you joking right now?
Shh, I'm calling them. Hi, I have a question about time travel.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Lots of vehicles to choose from at Sunrise. Trucks, SUVs, certified late-model used cars, and cars under $10,000. At Sunrise, we specialize in low monthly payments and secondary financing. Come on in, call, or go online to sunrisememphis.com. Schedule an appointment, select your vehicle, appraise your trade-in, arrange financing and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep. All cars inspected and ready to go. Need service or body work? Bring it to Sunrise or go online to schedule an appointment. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolfchase, and Collierville.
Hello, Batesville, Mississippi. It's Big Pop, inviting you to Mississippi's biggest and best gun shows. Big Pop Gun Shows will be in Batesville April 9th and 10th at the Batesville Civic Center, 290 Civic Center Drive. Saturday hours is 9 to 5, Sunday hours 10 to 5. Adult admission is $8, kids 6 to 11 is only $2. Buying, selling, trading, gun appraisals, over 250 tables of merchandise to see. The largest vendors around. Grab your $1 off coupon now at BigPopGunshows.com. All federal, state, local laws must apply. See y'all this weekend.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, yeah, Homer is our title sponsor. You'll never pay more than sticker price at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's the pledge. From Chris True, their general manager, take it to the bank. They take care of you. They've set the standard for the way car business should be done right there at the corner of Highway 78, Lamar in Memphis, and Craft Road, the first exit in Mississippi. Homer Skelton Hyundai. And this portion of the show brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team, and they do insurance a sort of a different way. It's collaboration. They get to know you. If it's life insurance, a car program, health insurance, whatever that may be, they will get to know you and then figure out exactly what is the best way to protect you, based on what your finances are and what's important to you. It's a unique way of doing it, getting to know you and then taking care of you the right way. They do the same thing with commercial insurance. If you are looking for, especially if you got a mid-size to smaller business, the right protection, you forecast out exactly what you want. They get together with you. They figure it all out. They look at your budget, and you get protected the right way. I don't want to forget about life insurance either. They will do that as they get to know you. All you got to do is make the call, 901-386-GER. That's because he loves the Tigers. That number is 901-386-4777. Get a quote today. Get taken care of the right way with collaboration with my friend Matt Eflin at the Eflin Insurance Group. Tim Doolin joins us now. Opening day for baseball on Thursday. The Redbirds of Ben Johnson, they open up tonight. Now, I always love opening day, and I know it's a week later, but my goodness, perfect timing because we just had college basketball come to an end, and here you go with the natural rite of spring. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's not a perfect day for an opening day, but nonetheless, we've got baseball. And, when you mentioned Ben's name, I just remember giving him lessons years and years ago when he was a rising star at Germantown High School. What a quality guy that guy.
Yeah. Wow, isn't that great? I mean, think about it. You taught this guy. Now he's the manager of the Memphis Redbirds. And don't worry about the weather. It's going to clear up afternoon. It's supposed to be sunny and in the 70s later in the day. It'll be perfect weather for opening day. All right, we got some news today. There is new technology that will involve like something on your wrist for catchers and pitchers that will actually give you pitch location and which pitch it's going to be. It's unstealable, they say. You cannot steal signs. With this new technology, do you think this really will last long? Will it work? Is this where we're going to?
Vanderbilt's using it right now, and I don't know. I'm not a fan of too much technology, to be honest with you. I think it just kind of takes some of the natural aspect of the game, and to me, sign stealing from a base runner that's at second base to try to figure out the sequence that a catcher's going through, I think it's part of the art of the game. Now, when you get into situations where you got cameras and so on and so forth, I guess I understand a little bit of why they would be going to this, but anything that we can do from that aspect to maybe speed the game up, I'm all for. I just don't think we need to come up with crazy rules that they think are going to speed the game up. Again, I think we've talked about this before. Well, if I know I'm going to see the Redbirds or the Cardinals or whatever, I'm planning the day around going to the game. I know it's going to take me. I got to leave 2 hours early, park, get into the stadium, and the game's going to last X number of hours, and it's the day. It's taking up the day, and the experience of going to the park and enjoying it with your family. I would want to spend the entire day there.
Well, that is interesting. I don't think society that way is that way in this day and age. I think we're used to basketball 2 hours. You go to college basketball games 2 hours. You go to an NBA game 2.5. That's sort of what we know. A football game is going to last about 3 to 3.5 hours, depending on how many spots CBS or ABC or ESPN are going to have, and it. The fact that it's open ended, I don't mind it. I hear you, but I think society, this new generation, they want it boom boom quick.
Yeah, but I hear you. You're correct in that. However, if it were me, marketing the game of baseball and trying to get more kids involved in playing, I was never a fan of going and watching a lot of baseball games. I do it now because I have to. I got to see players and whatever. But I was a fan of the game, and I was a fan of the players. We need to be marketing the Mookie Betts. We need to be marketing the Fernando Tatis Jr. We need to be marketing our players to get kids engaged in how great the game is and how athletic the game is. I think our focus is on the wrong thing, to be honest with you. And I hear that from a lot of former players. To be quite honest with you.
When I was a kid, of course, I hate to say it, but even the NFL or NBA or college basketball were not as popular. Baseball was as popular. I couldn't get enough. I was like Ernie Banks. Let's play two.
Yeah.
I couldn't spend enough time at the ballpark. But those days are long gone. All right, let's while we're on the verge of opening another season, let's talk a little bit about first the National League. It sure seems as if the Dodgers or the Braves are the two best teams. Some people say the Dodgers may have the best lineup in the history of the game, going back to the 20s murderers row of the Yankees. What do you think?
Well, I can tell you, it's amazing to me that the Dodgers were able to go have the off season they did as late as they did it with adding Freddie Freeman and then adding a closer that has proven at times to be a dominant closer. And a change of scenery might do him good. And the fact that the team is so good, I think the Dodgers I think they got better. I mean, I was a fan of Kenley Jansen, but the last couple of years it was hit or miss if he was gonna close the game for you. Now, I know Kimbrough's been kind of the same way, but adding, and I talked to Mookie and everything that you've read and or seen about Freddie Freeman is the epitome of what Mookie has expressed to me. Is the guy's a team player. He's a consummate pro. He's been great in the clubhouse. And so to add a guy that's not just a star of the game, but he's also a guy that's going to immediately fit in the clubhouse with the Dodgers culture, it's invaluable. That's why I was, to be honest with you, just shocked the Braves allowed him to leave. And then for the GM, I don't know if you saw this, but the GM of the Braves comes out and kind of throws Freddie under the bus. It's like he's revealing to the public that he's the one that made the mistake by saying that. You would never say that,
right?
The things he said about Freddie being a bad guy making a bad decision. I didn't get that.
Right, especially a local guy that has been their hero. So that I think was odd. American League. Everybody's talking about the Toronto Blue Jays. The White Sox are up there. Yankees, of course, are up there. How do you view that race?
I think that the Blue Jays are definitely a team that I think is ready to push ahead and have a chance to win the American League and represent them in the World Series. They've got unbelievable young talent, and ironically enough, a lot of their young talent are sons of former big leaguers, and not just big leaguers, but big league all-stars. And so Guerrero, you got Bichette, you got the second baseman that plays multiple positions, Biggio, and then they've added some key veteran free agents to the mix. I think the White Sox, obviously, that's a weak division. I think they're going to be right back in it. Lance Lynn's out for a little bit, but I think they can piecemeal it, until he gets back, and hopefully, although he's up there in age, the guy's just a consummate pro that wins, and that's why Tony La Russa loves the guy. So, and I think the Yankees, every year the Yankees are, on paper, one of the best teams in the American League, but yet they haven't been able to get over that hump. And last year there was no way you would have picked the Red Sox to do what they did, with Cora coming back after a year's suspension, and then them losing the likes of Mookie Betts and Jackie Bradley Jr. at the time, although he's back this year. I don't think you can discount the Red Sox. Devers is becoming a superstar in his own right. He's had a great spring. This guy can carry a club. And then they went and added Trevor Story to the mix, who's obviously willing to play second base, and he's going to bang some home runs off and over the Green Monster. Bogarts is a consummate pro, so I think the Red Sox are going to be right there as well.
National League Central, last thing, as we talk baseball with our man Tim Doolin. Everybody says Brewers, Cards second, Cubs in a rebuild. How do you view the National League Central?
We do discuss this all the time because the Cardinals are so close to home, but I wouldn't I would say the Cardinals and then the Brewers. That's just the way it typically works out. I think it's going to go down to the wire, obviously. It's going to be interesting for the Brewers. You gotta see, is Bader going to continue to dominate in the bullpen, and is Christian Yelich going to have a bounce back here and start helping carry that club like he's capable of doing? I think Yelich is really the key component to the Brewers having a successful run and winning the division.
And can the closer, as you just mentioned, Bader, can he continue to be as dominating as he's been?
Let me tell you something. I've faced a few guys like him, and you don't like facing. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. You got arms and legs coming at you. You got 98 coming at you. He commands a breaking ball. He's definitely not intimidated and surely not scared to pitch inside. And it's just electrifying. And he has the ball so well, so you don't see it until it's right on you.
Man.
So unless he gets injured, which I don't foresee happening, but it's happening more and more because guys are throwing so much harder than they ever did. And one of the things on that topic is the fact that even starting pitchers are not programmed like the guys I played with Mussina and Harnish and Schilling and
right because they're not going to pitch as many. Yeah, they're not going to pitch as many innings. They don't have to pace themselves.
That's right. That's right. It's their day to pitch, and when they show up to the park, in their mind back in those days, I'm going to throw a complete game.
Right.
Well, now it's not that case. So they're saying throw as hard as you can, as much as you can for 5 innings,
right,
and we'll get you out. Well, and then we'll hand it to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy to try to win the game. So I think that's why you're seeing as many injuries as you're seeing is because of that mode. And if you ever listen to John Smoltz, who's I think a great announcer, but he's also full of wisdom, we got to get back to balancing some of this stuff out to where we get back to playing the game of baseball like it should have been played with some analytics and some sabermetrics involved.
Interesting stuff for sure. It's here. Baseball is beginning tonight at AutoZone Park. Go see your Redbirds. Tim, we'll just talk baseball the rest of the year. We got games, thank goodness, and everything else.
Sounds good. Have a great day.
You too. That is our guy on baseball. That is Tim Doolin. He's brought to you by Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a big decision. You're going to renovate. Maybe you're going to build. You've had this family land for a long time. You're not sure how to utilize it. Ken knows. He and his dad, for over 50 years, they have been either building or renovating beautiful palaces all around our area. Go take a look at KenGarland.com and know this. Ken understands the commitment you're making. That's why he commits to you, to work closely with you, and on time, on budget, quality building every time you choose him to build your home. Or renovation with innovation. You love your location, but you want a modern amenity house. He's got him. He knows how to do it. I promise you. He's the best. Again, KenGarland.com, and then make the call. 901-751-1632. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Normally, Tuesdays, we'd have Mike DeCourcy. He's en route back home to Indianapolis from New Orleans. Could not be with us today. We'll have him on early tomorrow in the very first segment. In the meantime, the Grizzlies play at Utah tonight. Getting up a little early for us is the TV voice of the Grizzlies, Pete Pranica. We talk Grizz when we return.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Whoa, Greg's up.
He's never up this early.
Hey, guys. Okay, so this is called a Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell.
Oh, thanks. I can read. And that's a coffee. Helps you open your eyes.
And that's a breakfast burrito. You can start from either end.
You guys always this condescending in the morning?
Pretty much.
Wake up with the new $5 Bell Breakfast Box, filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. At limited participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation, which vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes.
Hi, everybody. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlays, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wolo said hello.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Got to give my congratulations to former Tiger big man Sean Taggart, who's been named the permanent basketball coach at Collierville High School after replacing both Scotty Robinson and Cedric Henderson, two guys that I think a lot of, but didn't work out for them at Collierville. And maybe Sean Taggart will be the right answer for the Dragons. Congratulations to Sean. In the meantime, getting up early in the Wasatch Mountain Range. It's beautiful in Salt Lake City. Pete Pranica joins us now, and I guess my first question is one, because I rely on you for logical explanation. How in the world could, with one starter, the Grizzlies beat the best team in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns, the other night, with a full cast? How can that possibly happen?
You know what? When you play with great energy and conviction and Phoenix, I mean, Monty Williams said it after the game. He said, we didn't come ready to play tonight. I looked at DeAndre Ayton in that game, and he looked marginally interested in that game. And you had a Grizzlies group that wanted to go out, and they wanted to prove that, hey, we might not be the regular rotation guys, but we're going to give it our all for our fans and play the best we can. And Phoenix, they didn't bring the energy, but that should not discredit what the Grizzlies did, because without a true point guard, okay, and Desmond Bain usually is the third point guard, and you didn't have him either. Yeah, it really was amazing, but it's just a testament to the depth of this team, a testament to how this roster has been constructed. And if that game didn't clinch Coach of the Year for Taylor Jenkins, I know he got ejected in the game, but if that doesn't clinch it for him, I don't know what would.
Do you? And I'm asking you to be totally objective here. The Heat are a little surprising, so Spoelstra's got to be in that conversation. Monty Williams has the best record by far of everybody in the NBA. How is he not the Coach of the Year? As much as I respect Taylor Jenkins, and I certainly think he's in the conversation, how do you give it to him over Monty Williams?
Monty Williams is basically the same roster he had last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more all-star players. If you want to talk about Monty Williams over a 2-year period, yeah, I mean, I think certainly you could do that. I think the way that I look at it, and some voters will look at it, is which coach has had a team that has exceeded expectations by the greatest amount. Everybody figured Phoenix would be top of the league.
Right.
Nobody had the Grizzlies being second best record in the NBA at this point. Absolutely nobody. I think the most optimistic Grizzlies fan would have had them, hey, I hope we make top 6 and avoid the play-in. and to do it the way they've done it, to be great without John Morant, to be as good as the Grizzlies were when COVID swept not only through the roster but through the coaching staff, and the Grizzlies didn't miss a beat. So, I admit I'm a little biased, and a lot of people are going to vote for Monty because they won 62 games and are the favorite to win the championship. But again, I mean, you've got Chris Paul, you've got Devin Booker, you've got a really, really stacked roster that you had a year ago. And for the Grizzlies, this was a bit of a change, and obviously nobody expected them to have 53 wins at this point.
Be honest, what were your real expectations?
55.
55, right. What were your real expectations? What did you think? I was hoping they'd make the play-in, let alone the playoffs, let alone number 2 in the whole darn league. What were you really thinking they would be this year?
I thought the ceiling, frankly, was the 6th seed and avoid the play-in. I mean, if everything broke right and everybody improved, and you didn't have a tremendous amount of injuries, 6 would have been the ceiling. That would have been the hope. But yeah, to have the second best record in the league, and look, they've beaten Phoenix twice, they've beaten Utah twice, they've beaten Denver 3 times, they've beaten Golden State 3 times. Okay, they're pretty good against the good teams, regardless of who's been on the floor. And I think that also speaks to the quality of the job that Taylor Jenkins has done with this group.
You've done a lot of playoffs, especially you've done first and second round stuff for TNT. Congratulations on that stuff, by the way. But there's this old axiom: you can't be a young team and go deep in the playoffs because everything changes: physicality, mentality, adjustments. How much of a factor is inexperience of this team in the playoffs when it comes to this year?
I think it is a factor, but we haven't really seen this team, with a litmus test the way they're playing this year. Last year they were kind of on a roll, had to win 2 play-in games, which is phenomenally difficult. And of course, to win the second one at Golden State was really hard. And then you play the top-rated Utah Jazz. Monty Williams made an interesting comment in his pregame media availability about youth in the playoffs, and Monty Williams had not won a playoff series until they won the first round last year. So, yeah, this is a group that hasn't won a playoff series, and you have to understand that, okay, if you have championship aspirations, you got to win 16 games, which means you're probably playing 20 to 22 games more. Mm-hmm. That's a quarter of a regular season, and so. If the Grizzlies have the success of winning a first-round playoff series, how do they handle that success? It's going to be undiscovered country for the players. Now, Taylor Jenkins obviously has been in the playoffs as an assistant coach, in Milwaukee and in Atlanta. So from that perspective, he's got maybe a little bit more experience. The one thing that might benefit this team is they are playing with a swagger and with a confidence that they may not know what winning in the playoffs is at this point, but they don't know that they don't know, and they really don't care. And so, how many times have we said about this Grizzlies team, well, this is going to be rough? I mean, how many people expected them to come in and beat Phoenix on Friday night? Nobody did. And
nobody.
So this team just keeps surprising, and maybe they'll surprise us in the playoffs. I mean, talent-wise, they have the ability, I think, to get to the conference finals. And once you get to the conference finals, who knows? You may get on a hot streak, and who knows? That's the view from my chair anyway.
4 games left tonight. Utah. I'm trying to remember on Thursday when Ja comes back.
Denver,
and then I know you got the Pelicans in Boston at home. 1 win to tie the franchise record of 56 wins. 2 out of 4. To break the record, but who knows who plays. So what's your gut feel? Will they get to 57?
Boston right now is playing incredible basketball. And I don't know if they're going to pull guys off and try to get themselves rested for the playoffs. Yeah, I think you have a chance. This is a Utah team that has struggled recently. They've lost 6 of 7, and the only win they had was at home against the Lakers, which are obviously on a tailspin. So tonight will be very interesting. I think Taylor Jenkins will play maybe not a fully regular rotation, but pretty close to it, because you don't want to walk into the postseason say, losing 4 in a row or 3 or 4 or something like that, just because you wanted to rest guys. You want to be in a good rhythm. So I think they're going to try to sharpen everything as best they can going into the postseason. I think Taylor's going to play it pretty close to regular the rest of the season, depending on how guys are feeling.
And will Ja play Thursday night?
I don't know. I mean, I know that they're talking about a reevaluation of him. I think ideally, if the medical team would give him the go-ahead, you'd want to get him on the floor and not have him have his first game back be game 1 of a playoff series. So,
for sure.
He's ramping up the work. They're going to do another evaluation, and we'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right, you're gonna go hike, maybe go see Alta today while you're there.
I still got a little bit more prep to do, and it's been chilly and snowy. But I think a nice long walk downtown probably is about as much as I'm going to be able to manage.
Enjoy. Safe travels. We'll talk to you before the playoffs.
All right. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you, Pete. Pete Pranica, TV voice of the Grizz. He's brought to you by the good folks at Old Dominic. Oh, you got to go check this place out. You got to check out their product. By the way, you don't have to go down to 305 South Front Street to buy Old Dominic Spirits. You don't. You can get it at spirit shops, including the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick at E. Connor's Place. You can get it all over town. And if you really want something interesting, you want to try their portfolio, go to their bar. It's cool. Right there, 305 South Front Street. It's elegant but not stuffy, I promise. And you can check out everything. They got a new bourbon that's, I think, about to get released from their master distiller, Alex Castle. They got Old Dominic's mixologist there. If you fancy an old-fashioned or you want to try anything, they are there. You'll love the place. And if you want to take the tour, it's the only full distillery tour in Memphis. Your hometown distillery, that is Old Dominic. We thank Tim Doolin. We thank Pete Pranica. We'll put a wrap on college basketball tomorrow with Mike DeCourcy. Have a great day, everyone.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's